If I am this immature, neurological little baby and I'm trying to reconnect my brain to my body and body to my brain, what a wonderful medium to be in. So I got my little prescription that said, yes, she can be in the water. At first, I needed somebody to get me into the water. I needed somebody to get me out, to get me dressed, to get me showered, all those things. But it was interesting for me as a grown-up adult woman who swam. I was a competitive swimmer. And so I had to move through territory with myself about what is this?
The natural buoyancy of the water helped her limbs move without her having to voluntarily be able to move them. And it moved them in a more extended position than a flexed position, because that's what water does.
Over the years, I've had opportunity to work with a variety of different therapists in the water. About 2 years ago, this man shows up who came to work at this pool. His name is Vladimir, and his major gift to me is breath.
Molly added Vladimir's suggestions to the breathing exercises she was already doing in her daily routine.
Vladimir worked with me in a new movement where I would first come into his body bending the knees, and then I would push back, and once I got on the back movement, then I would stand. And this triggers the body's parts appropriately. My body has a lot of memory in it, and it responded, and all of a sudden, I'd be standing up. And by the third or the fourth movement that I'm doing, my body started to click in.
Once Molly realized that she could stand, she found the courage to take the first steps toward her dream of being able to walk again.
The way Molly has helped herself and the strength she has accomplished, or that she has recovered almost all the muscles in the lower extremity.
Very strong, wonderful. Now let me just hold it. Can you get your foot up? Great. Push it down. That's very good.
I've been standing in water for quite some time, but most of my standing has all been on spastic muscle. I'm not going anywhere, I'm just up. But to be able to relax the muscles that need to be relaxed in order to move forward, just like regular walking, that's what's being retrained. That's what I'm teaching my body. Sometimes it seems like it's not me. It's almost as though I am outside of myself, observing the walking. And part of my process is connecting with the fact that, no, wait, this is me. These are my feet on the bottom of the pool. This is my body responding to the idea of lifting the knee. All kind of, interconnects, and it's thrilling.
In order to protect this site, the Sacred Alliance for Grassroots Equality, known as SAGE, was founded in 1996. Members of SAGE went to city officials and tried to explain the significance of the petroglyphs.
So we did a meeting with the mayor. We shared with him the example of why this was a sacred place, and we tried to make a comparison of this is a church. For Indian people, this is a church. How would you feel if a road went through your church? And he said, I would absolutely, without a doubt, never allow that over my dead body. And so we thought, well, great, that's what we're talking about here. And he was like, no, it's not. They're just rocks. It's a bunch of graffiti out there. It's just rocks.
We've been working for many years to try to protect a sacred site on the west side of Albuquerque. And through that effort, we actually found ourselves being outvoted time and time again So what we started to do is to try to create a voting bloc of Indian people.
We realized that we had to be able to play as a community in making sure that people who understood this area and understood why it was sacred were those folks making the decisions.
In 2002, SAGE created the Native American Voters Alliance. NAVA worked to register voters and educate them about the complexity of the upcoming bond issue.
A majority of the city councilors were getting as much as 80% of their contributions from developer interest. So we pushed a very public campaign to bring attention to that.
In 2003, Albuquerque citizens went to the polls to vote on the bond issue.
And Native American voters said, this is the only time that we get to vote for whether or not we want that road through the petroglyphs. And they voted en masse.
They voted overwhelmingly to defeat the road through the petroglyphs.
That was the first time in the history of Albuquerque that a street bond had ever been voted down.
This woman was the chief administrator of a women's health clinic in Texas, which provided a full range of services, including adoption and abortion. She was threatened with excommunication from the Catholic Church when she refused to abandon her position on this issue.
I came into focus with the media, speaking the pro-choice side and defending our clinic and defending the patients and their right to choose and their right to have access to these services. In one of those interviews, I was asked what religion I practiced, and I, of course, said that I was a pro-choice Catholic. This special interest group petitioned the bishop and said, you cannot allow this woman to publicly state that she's a pro-choice Catholic. That just can't be done. And sure enough, 2 months down the road, I received my first letter of warning saying that I was in jeopardy of excommunicating myself automatically. And that as my bishop, that he was warning me and giving me information regarding the evils of abortion.
All involved in the deliberate and successful effort to eject a non-viable fetus from the mother's womb incur excommunication.
The most frightening thing about my excommunication was that had it been another time, I would have been burned at the stake. I wouldn't have had a piece of paper to tell me you're no longer a Catholic and you can no longer be buried in the Catholic Church or you can no longer receive communion. But I would have been burned at the stake. But it's not going to silence me. And I'm going to continue to speak. And I want to be that force. I want to be that person that says, but we are affected by this. Women come to clinics like reproductive services and clinics, other abortion providers across this country, with the most incredible circumstances. And we treat them with respect, and we give them the quality medical care that they deserve.
Out here, the feeling many people have towards education is very behind, especially in the matter of girls. They will educate the boys, but not the girls. It is necessary to educate the girls too. Until the girls are educated, they won't be able to move ahead.
Education, along with access to family planning, frees women to begin to make the most of their lives. India is building new hope for its future, woman by woman. For a village woman to assert herself and speak out requires tremendous personal courage. She's standing up against centuries of subjugation.
I don't care if people have doubts about my work. I don't want to give in to other people's pressure and let them influence me. If I listen to other people's opinions and judgments, my confidence will be destroyed. No matter whether or not other people think what I am doing is beneficial, they will see the result and feel good.
My name is Lois Perlman. I am 78 years old. I have 4 daughters, beautiful, splendid daughters, 8 amazing, wonderful grandchildren, and I have emphysema. I want this film to be seen by people that are on oxygen and have been having difficulty confronting their negative positions about what it is they have going on. It was very difficult for me to confront my own positions about going out with oxygen. At the beginning, I didn't use the oxygen because I didn't want to appear like somehow using oxygen would diminish my power. I have found that isn't so. So now, I do everything on oxygen. I go to the supermarket. I use the oxygen in the supermarket. I resisted that at first. I didn't want to go in and walk around and appear like I needed some kind of physical support. And then I finally figured, listen, halfway through the market, before I wore the oxygen, I would get really tired and I would have to leave. So I figured, this is ridiculous. I might as well have a good time. So I started to take it in with me. You stick it in the cart and you go through the store, that's all. You get used to it. Originally, I wanted this film to be called Oy Vey, Oxygen, because it's not something that you expect to have turn up in your life. It's just not something you ever think you're going to have to deal with. And then when you do, it's a shock. So then the mission becomes to use it and have it be cool. Oy vey.